How's it going, lazy Bruces? I'm Bobby Sixkilla. Welcome back to Zero Escape 999. What is possibly going to be the last episode of Zero Escape 999. We are going to do the library puzzle and hopefully see the true ending that we've been working towards. I'm excited to see what happens or how much it changes from the last ending, or whether Ace is going to be a bad guy, whether Santa's zero, or like he seems to be zero, but is he actually the bad guy? Ace seems like the bad guy with all the information. If all the information we've gathered the entire playthrough, all of our endings together, is true, then Ace certainly isn't a good guy. We're going to jump into this puzzle because I think this is going to be difficult. Let's just see what happens. There's a lot of books here. There's a note on that table. Light to the books. Lights to the books. What does that mean? Interesting. Well, intelligence often hides itself in darkness. Have you ever thought about the pages of a book? Each page only sees what may be 2 or 3 minutes of light before the reader is on to the next. They spend the rest of their lives locked in darkness. Rather like myself. That's horrible. Oh, don't get me wrong. I'm not complaining. Not at all. I live in the darkness, yes, but that has gifted me with the ability to catch the truths others might miss. I can hear the voices hidden in the darkness, you might say. Anyway, well, this book sticks out like dog's balls. Teletemporation and telepathy. What the hell is this one about? Well, I know what telepathy is, but I've never heard of teletemporation. It refers to having the ability to travel through time. Oh. This book is called Mind Swap. You mean you could, like, change bodies with someone? Well, I guess I wouldn't mind switching bodies with... Oh, something. Brother or Junpei too much. I'd rather die than let Seven switch with me. What the hell? Like I'd ever want to swap bodies with a little brat like... Hey, were you just imagining it? You were. Shut up. Yeah, well, he wasn't the only one. Yeah, that's weird. Kitab al-Azif. Man, they've got some weird stuff in here. I can't even pronounce this one. Who's that? Some famous guy? It's not a person's name. It's the name of a fictional book created by Abdul al-Hazared. It's said to be one of the sources used in the creation of the legendary Book of the Dead, the Necronomicon. Oh, so these are all occult books and stuff. Yeah. This one says Golden Rabbit and the Moon on it. Does that mean it's about a rabbit that lived on the moon? Rabbits are pretty cute, but what's the moon stuff about? It's talking about the Judas tree that's said to grow on the moon, according to Chinese legend. Okay. That's the same group, yeah? Energy theory, huh? I don't even understand the damn title. Looks like the shelf's still science and technology. What's this? What's the deal with these titles? They're all just gibberish. What if we like switch them around? Switch them around? Yeah. If we move them around, maybe they'll spell something. Oh, I get it, yeah. Hey, it's worth a shot. It shouldn't be too hard. There's lub. How do you switch them around? Most of these can't possibly spell words. Can't. Can they? Find. Oh, look, find. Open here, find bulb. How about this? Looks like putting these books in the right order, open this thing up. That was a piece of cake. They said light the books. Hooray, you did it, Junpei. I guess that turned out well enough. So the letters from the title spell out, open here, find bulb. And they said you need to light the books. Looks like it's brand new and it's really big, so it'll make a lot of light. Now all we need is something to stick it in. This? It's a coat rack. Like a place where you hang coats and hats and stuff. This one's not too big, maybe just hats. There's a light fixture down there. You see that? It's a small enclosure with 9 sides. There are 3 of these things that look kind of like music stands. Am I supposed to put something on those stands? There are 3 lights in this thing. They're very bright though. Didn't we find some kind of really powerful light bulb earlier? Why don't you put that in those lights? Yeah, well, they get a lot brighter, but if there are 3 lights, that means there are 3 light bulbs. Yeah. Alright, we just gotta find books that stick out like dog's balls. Like these ones. Dead kind. What the hell is this? Wasn't that a German mathematician? Maybe it was a compilation of his work. Owen. Huh. Owen isn't enough to go on. Perhaps it's about the English Revolutionary. Liberin is... This book is in German. Looks like it's a complete works of something. I never heard of it. Well, if Snake doesn't know what it is, I don't think we'll ever know. Sheldrake. Sheldrake? Isn't Sheldrake... What? It's got the volume number written on the lower part of the spine. Okay. It doesn't help us at this stage, because I don't know what any of them mean. This bookshelf has a sort of glassy inlay. It's pretty big, but there are only 6 books in it. That seems kind of weird. Looks like there's something on the bottom. Can't really see it though. The glass is all foggy. Can we just pull the lever? Oh, it's a number lock. Oh wait, is that to do with like the volumes? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Maybe, but I don't know yet. We need more information to go on. This one says transition of extinct species. You need to hurry it up or we're gonna end up in there. Pages of a book like that. Introduction geology, huh? Thinking about the earth even when you're in the ocean. Kind of romantic in a way, I guess. Paleontology, this one's about fossils, right? Ammonites are pretty nasty looking. Mother Nature. Is that some sort of book about hippie chicks? Probably not, except perhaps tangentially. It's most likely about environmental protection. I was just trying to make a joke. Dude, hippie chicks, really? The Theory of Evolution. Heck, even I know this one. This is that Darwin guy, right? Well, yes and no. Charles Darwin wrote a book called On the Origin of Species. In it he put his theory of evolution. Yeah, I remember that part. He called it natural selection. Exactly. Theories of the Cambrian explosion. Did a bomb go off somewhere? Called Cambria? Wrong kind of explosion. An explosion of life. Roughly 500 million years ago, during what is known as the Cambrian period, research suggests that the variety of living organisms increased by an order of magnitude. Why this happened is, however, still something of a mystery. There are a number of theories. This book is most likely a collection of them. I don't like this place. Micrographia, huh? Ah yes, Robert Hooke's famous work, first published in 1665. He built a microscope and examined insects, inorganic substances and other things too small to be seen in detail by human eyes. He then drew pictures of many of the things he'd examined and published them in a book. And hazard a guess that this shelf is concerned with natural sciences. Why did mankind lose their tails? Jinpei, do you know what this one's about? Why are you asking me? I didn't even know we had tails to lose. Maybe you should ask a human with a tail. Like Goku? Mankind's ancestors most likely lose their tails as they were no longer useful, and the nutrients required to grow them were better put to use elsewhere. At least, that's what I read. I was rather young. I may remember it incorrectly. Why the hell would a kid be reading a book like that? Creatures of the South Seas, huh? I wonder if this one's got pictures of colourful fish and stuff. Okay, we're done with that shelf. There's so much! Dissection Atlas, huh? The whole section is full of medical books. Recreation of lost human functions. Ah, growing back human body parts. Like mental abilities. Cultivating a sixth sense, yeah. Ancient gladiators. Now they're researching human physical limits across history. Human equilibrium theory. Regeneration of internal organs. A picture book. Looks like it's about a Little League? It does seem a little weird that it's so different from the others, huh? Maybe you ought to take it with you. At least we got something out of it. Jesus. There's a baseball on this one. Come on, Junpei, let's see what's in it. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say it's probably baseball stuff. Oh. Pop-up book. Head. It's only 4 digits though. Now look, book 7, a book perfect for you. Correlation of muscle, bone density, and bone strength. You're just saying that in case, because it says muscle. Dissection. Organized by genre. Principles of monkey behavior. Oh my god. We're gonna be doing this forever, you know that, right? Communication and Computer Sciences. This is a pretty generic title. To be honest, it's so vague, I don't really know what it might be about. An overview of photochemistry? There's a whole lot of space behind these books. Look, Junpei, I think there's something hidden beneath the books. We found a bulb. That's 2. Dude. Automated robotic assembly line techniques. What's that? Some sort of comic book? Geez, I guess boys really like that stuff, huh? No, you're thinking of a different sort of robot. This book is talking about automated machinery that's used to build things like cars. What's that one called? Foundations of DNA and Genetic Engineering. I don't know where we have and haven't looked anymore. Mind swap, we did that one. How big is a group? Evolutionary theory. That one. Okay, so we've done everything in that block. It's another one of those kids' picture books. Looks a lot like the other one we found. This one has some Native Americans on the cover. Let's have a look at this one. Kill? Guess it's one of them pop-up books, right? Got the letters L, R, and K popping out of it. Can't make any sense out of them though. Large, round, and kinky? Nah, probably not. It says kill. K-I-L-L. There's 2 L's. Look, this one says Cultural Heritage of Rome. Yeah, that's gonna be serious inheritance tax. Permian creatures. My god, there's so much reading to do here. I'm just trying to find an answer. Give me an answer. Medieval period. Greek mythology. History of the Western world. Oriental history. Okay. Moving on. The black hole hypothesis. Gamma ray astrophysics. I guess this bookshelf has astronomy themed. Oh, we did those ones. What is this? Energy yeah. Just listening to you reading those gives me a headache. Okay, that's enough of that. Have we done that one? Have we done this side? Energy theory. Alright, let's head down. I feel like we've been reading these for frickin' ever. Now, I'm thinking that this somehow corresponds to that. The pop-up books? Yeah? I don't even know. What else is there to look at then? Algebraic numbers, math. Another one like that over here. I mean something like primary number theory or analytical number theory or geometry. Oh my gosh, how'd you know? Nobody said anything about those. Well, number theory is usually split into 4 cheap disciplines. If there was a book named Algebraic Number Theory... Oh my god. Stop! That's a weird book, Junpei. Indian mathematics. That's funny. Why is that funny? The Pythagorean theorem? This is a famous one. So there are a number of math books in this section. Goldbach's Conjecture? May have an odd title, but it's actually a very respectable mathematics book. Yeah, let's not get into this right now. Alright, next lot. Alright, what do we got? Origin of Japanese folklore. Looks like there's a bunch of books about Japanese culture in there. Okay. Yeah. I'm not reading all of this, it's gonna take forever. Another picture book, here we go. Yeah, stop fighting, I'm sick of you guys fighting all the time. What's inside? Aren't you gonna open it? Pretty sure it's just gonna have pages inside, smart art. It's like another pop-up book. S, E, a dash, and a number 5. Might be impressed if I was 5. What? Agricultural and historical organizations and folklore. Books in other languages. Dude, I'm so lost right now. We've only got 2 of the light bulbs as well. Where do we get the other freaking light bulb? Oh shit. I think I just got it. These numbers here, they're probably the answer. What is it? 6? Is that a 9 or an 8? I think it's an 8. 6, 8, 2, 4, 1, 5. Is that the answer? Let's try it. Let's try it. I kind of like when you rotate the numbers. Yeah. What the hell is this? It's like they just gave us the answer. So might as well give it a shot. I didn't even notice that. Like, I noticed that there was a thing there. 6, 8, 2, 4, 1, 5. Is that right? Oh, 6, 3, 2, 4, 1, 5. Whoops. I thought it was an 8, but it's a 3. You did it, Junpei! Yay! I don't know why, but I don't really feel particularly happy about being praised for that. Whatever. At least the lock's open now. Let's see if we can get it open, alright? Open. Bulb. Alright, we got the 3 bulbs. And we got 3 books, but I don't... Oh, the books must go in here as well. So there are 3 lights in here. I'm gonna change the bulbs. Now they should... And it's gonna cast a shadow on the ground. Those light bulbs really make a difference. It's pretty bright in here now. Need to put the books in them. Item. They have to be in the right order though. It's a small enclosure with 9 sides. There are 3 of these things. They're kind of like music stands. Maybe we try putting these picture books on the stands. Then... Awesome. Looks like it worked. Way to go, Junpei. Good job, buddy. There's something projecting on the bottom. Those letters, they seem familiar. Shield Rake 5. What the hell does that mean?
Sheldrake 5?
Oh, Sheldrake.
I think I saw the rest of his collection somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it was somewhere around here.
Yes.
Let's go take a look.
Okay.
Sheldrake.
Have you heard of him? Sheldrake, I mean.
Yeah, Lotus told me about him.
There's a British biochemist named Sheldrake. He has a rather
That's right.
interesting theory. Morphogenetic fields, which relies on the theory of morphic resonance.
Really? From Lotus, huh?
Well,
Yes.
Clover also said something to me about that stuff.
She did?
Yeah, what was it?
The ability to access a morphogenetic field is affected by a couple of things. The first is epiphany, and the other is danger.
That girl. I told her not to tell anyone.
You did? Why?
Well...
Look, man, I didn't push it because we're in a hurry, but I'm kind of sick of this. How about you just tell me, okay?
Tell
Good point.
you what?
Don't give me that.
Whatever.
About the experiment.
Ugh. Very well, fine. I'll tell you everything.
Good.
But not here. Let's move to the top floor.
Fine. Douche.
I suppose I might as well start by telling you why I kept quiet, and why I made sure Clover did as well. To be honest, the explanation is quite simple. Zero told me not to. I had little choice. He didn't walk up and tell me, of course. He gave me a message engraved on a card.
I remember.
That's a Braille card. It looks just like the one you showed us earlier. So you had 2 cards.
No, only one.
Huh? What do you mean? I thought that card just had some rules for the Nonary Game on it.
Yes, it did. And those were the rules I read you. However, they were not the only thing on the card. There was something I didn't read. Well, perhaps I should say, there was something I couldn't read.
And that was?
Tell no one of the events that took place 9 years ago. Tell, and I activate your sister's detonator. It's a threat on our lives.
Oh. Well, what about Clover? Did she get a message from Zero too?
I don't believe she did. But Doesn't it strike you as strange that Zero would shut my mouth, but not hers?
Because he didn't know that she was part of the experiment. Because she was in a different experiment in a different location.
Yeah.
To be on the safe side, however, I told her it was best not to tell anyone. Still, apparently she told you. That girl.
What's wrong with her telling me? I figured some stuff out with the things she told me. I mean, it looks like the whole activate her detonator thing was just a bluff. She's prancing around downstairs happy as a clam now that you're back.
That's very true. I've decided I can trust you. I've decided to tell you the truth. The chance that Santa is Zero is very high. I feel I can assume Santa doesn't have the time to observe us at the moment. And at any rate, even if he were, I very much doubt he would kill us.
Why?
Clover told me about the four-leaf clover, about the words. If he knew about that, then he was in my group during the first experiment. I'm sure of it.
He was and his sister was.
He wouldn't kill us, no matter what the situation was.
Hey, Snake?
Yes, I know. You want to know what happened during the experiment.
That'd be lovely.
Yeah.
How much do you know?
Clover told me about...
I see. The morphogenetic field in the experiments 9 years prior. How the experiments had taken place simultaneously at 2 locations, one being the ship and the other being a building in Nevada. And the girl that died during the experiment. She told you all that, did she? At any rate, I now know how much you've learned. All that remains for us to determine
is who did this and why, right?
yes.
Can you tell me what happened?
Yes. The people who organized the initial experiment were from a company called Cradle Pharmaceuticals. There were 4 of them running the show. Gentaro Hongo, Nagisa Nijisaki, Teruaki Kubota, Kagechika Musashido. Hongo was the CEO of Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Nijisaki was his right-hand man and did the lion's share of the planning. Kubota led the company's research and development division.
That's number 9, isn't it? That one there? Kubota? I reckon that's number 9. We got blown up right at the start.
Musashido was their majority stockholder. It was these 4 people who planned the initial experiment. Let me simplify it for you. Hongo designed it, and Nijisaki put it all together. Kubota developed the technology required, and Musashido provided the cash.
So it's Hongo, Nijisaki, Kubota, Musashido...
Of course, more than 4 people were required to conduct an experiment of this scale. To that end, they organized a top-secret team to assist them with their research. All in all, they gathered 10 people or so. Those 10 completed their team, and they were able to begin the project. They named it the Nonary Project. The purpose of the experiment was to research the prospect of controlling a human mind through sheer will. The vessel, I suppose you could say, for this control was the morphogenetic field. Why did the glycerin suddenly begin to crystallize? Why did the crystal structure of EDT undergo a sudden change? Why did the rats improve their puzzle-solving skills with each generation? Experiments with humans produced the same results. The more people who knew the answer to a question, the more there were who could answer correctly without
having the knowledge
before.
Yeah.
Why is that? How could it happen? The answer is that the shape of the answer has been stored in a field invisible to the naked eye. And through that field, the resonant event transmits information related to that answer. That's essentially the idea behind morphogenetic fields.
Right.
It's just a theory.
Can't bring yourself to believe it?
Yeah.
Let's say someone killed another person because the devil told them to do it. Whether the devil exists or not has no relevance to the murder. They believe the devil exists. Whether or not he does is immaterial.
So what matters here is that Hongo believed in the morphogenetic field.
That's right.
But I still don't get it. You said they wanted to figure out how to control people, right? That is what you were saying.
Yes.
So how are they going to do that with a morphogenetic field?
I'll keep it simple. Let's suppose
Please do.
10,000 people have solved a certain problem. The chance of you knowing that answer, even if no one has told you, will go up. Let's have another example, shall we? Say 1 million people were to do a handstand right now. Tomorrow, the chances of you doing a handstand would be higher, even if you had heard nothing of this hypothetical mass handstanding. Mankind's thought process and actions are all part of a resonant event. All of the resonant events encoded in the fields are projected onto you. Of course, this assumes you believe in this theory. Do you follow so far?
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, if there was a person who had the same effect as those millions of people, what would happen?
You could kind of control the masses.
If that one person were to do a handstand,
Indirectly.
other people would find themselves wanting to do handstands as well. Can you imagine what a person with powers like that would be able to do?
Make shit tons of money.
Come on, there's no way.
I'm not done. Imagine another scenario. Imagine another person. This is an ordinary person. Let's say he does a handstand. What if there was someone who could grab the resonant event he created by doing that and use it to make other people do handstands? What would happen then? A person who has the power to write to the field, and someone who can read from the same. You could think of them as the writer and the reader, or the transmitter and the receiver. What would the world be like if there were people with abilities like these?
They'd be like gods.
So the transmitter's resonant event can be transmitted through the field and sent to the receiver. And then the transmitter can control the receiver however they wish. That's what you're saying, right?
Yes. Close enough, at least.
Come on, that's just crazy.
Well, if you want to prove that, then you'll have to test it first. At least, that was how they thought. That was why they decided to do their experiment. That was how the Nonary project began.
Makes sense?
By the way, Junpei, have you ever heard of the Gansfeld experiment?
Yeah, that was an experiment in telepathy, right? You place a pair of subjects in separate rooms. Then you show one a picture and ask the other what they see.
Interesting. I'm impressed. Yes, that is exactly correct.
So, why did you bring up the Gansfeld experiment?
It was used to screen subjects for the Nonary project. The hospital in a remote town was affiliated with Cradle Pharmaceuticals. Hongo used it to conduct experiments on visiting children in secret. Some of them, he found, had potential. He began to gather children that showed promise. Children that seemed as though they might be able to access the field. Of course, none of them volunteered. They were kidnapped. There were 9
You're one of
pairs
them.
of siblings taken, for 18 children total.
9 pairs of siblings. So Santa was one of the... Santa must have been with Clover's group then, right? Because Santa's sister was with the group on the ship. With Snake, the one who died.
For reasons that were not fully understood at the time, each pair had one transmitter and one receiver. They were split perfectly. As such, the 18 children were split into 2 groups of 9. The children who were put into Group Q were the ones who excelled at transmitting. They were transferred to the mock experiment building known as Building Q in the Nevada desert. The children who excelled at receiving were put in Group A. Group A was then placed on the former hospital ship Gigantic. From the experiments he had conducted so far, Hongo had learned the following. There are 2 things that can increase one's resonance with the fields. The first is epiphany. The other is danger. Have you ever been faced with an especially difficult problem?
I heard this not long ago.
Very long and very hard until finally an answer suddenly appeared in your mind? It may seem obvious to say so, but that is what is meant by epiphany. The information obtained through that epiphany can be easily transmitted through the fields, where it can be easily interpreted. Adding danger to that equation allows for even easier field access. That's where Hongo came in. They set up a number of puzzles across the Gigantic. The participants had to solve each one before they could move to the next room. Of course, he hadn't forgotten to include danger. He had detonated a bomb on the hull of the Gigantic. The children in Group A were forced to play the Nonary Game as the ship sunk. By forcing the children into a life-or-death situation, Hongo hoped to increase the likelihood of their tapping into the fields.
We're doing that right now.
The children from Group Q, on the other hand, were confined to the mock experiment building, Building Q. Building Q duplicated the interior and puzzles of the Gigantic exactly. Every detail was exactly the same. Hongo explained the situation to the children in Group Q. Solve the puzzles you find throughout the rooms. When you have the answers, transmit that information to the children in Group A. If you succeed...
How do they know how to... They don't know how to transmit it though, it just happens, right?
But if you fail, then the gigantic will sink, and your brothers and sisters will drown. Those were his orders. Do you know why the astronauts of Apollo 13 were able to return to Earth safely? It was because NASA had access to a replica of the Apollo 13 capsule. All of the equipment, the instruments, everything. All of it identical. Everything was just like the real Apollo 13. NASA was able to replicate the situation the astronauts found themselves in. By putting themselves in the same situation, they attempted to solve the problems the astronauts were dealing with. Once they found solutions, they reported their findings to the men aboard the actual capsule. That was how they were able to return safely. It was the same with the gigantic in Building Q. The children from Group Q had to use the power of epiphany to solve the puzzles they found and transmit what they learned through the fields. The children in Group A, however, they had to access the fields to learn how they might advance to the next stage. That is the simplest explanation I can manage.
Huh.
Hey, Junpei, Snake! How much longer are you two gonna sit around on those bony asses? Get down here already!
Yeah, we've been here a
He's
while.
right. Let's go, shall we? We don't have much time. We need to get out of here and soon.
Hold on.
Yeah.
There's one more thing I want to ask you. Are you sure that there were 18 kids?
Why?
Well, I thought it was only 16.
Oh, yes. That was what they said on the news, wasn't it? Yes. I have no doubt that 18 children were abducted and used in Hongo's experiment.
So who was forgotten?
After all, you couldn't exactly play a Nonary game with any less, could you?
Well, yeah, but are you saying that the news got it wrong?
Yes, I am. There were 2 more children. However, they had no relatives that I'm aware of. I imagine no one filed a police report when they went missing. They were brother and sister, like Clover and I. The brother's name was Aoi. The sister's name was... Her name was Akane. That was the girl who died.
Akane. As in June? Right? Wait, what? June's Akane. The girl who died was Santa's sister. And Santa and June were the ones whose numbers were changed. Oh my god.
Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago? Then, who is June? No. That's impossible.
I think we need to wrap this episode up here because I think there's a lot more explanations to happen. This is a bit of a blue balls ending again, so it's a tradition, really. We'll leave this one here, unless the next bit turns out to be like 10 minutes long, in which case I'll just stitch them together. But otherwise, hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you in the next one.